Hello, Jade here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. It's been a hot minute since I've been on YouTube, like a long time, but I figured, you know what, today's as good a time as any to get back on, and I've been wanting to get back on for so long, and I'm just, you know what, I've just decided to let it all go. I'm back on YouTube. I want to be back. So here I am. Quick update. Now, where can I start? I'm still in Vietnam. I've been living in Vietnam for, well, it will be 4 years this September if I make it here that long. We have actually been in lockdown for the last 8 weeks. And it hasn't been as serious as it has been starting from today. Today was start a serious lockdown here in Vietnam. You know, I'm smiling and whatever, but to be honest with you, the last 8 weeks have been probably 8 of the worst weeks of my life. It's just been like, a total hurricane has hit my life. 8 weeks ago, the Vietnam government announced that they were going to start getting rid of foreigners in this country, and it became pretty scary. Like, you're like, wow, can I stay here? Can I not stay here? Am I able to stay here? And I just felt like my whole life got tipped upside down. I basically gave away everything because I thought I was going to have to leave before June the 10th. And I was just in a mad panic. I didn't even have a chance really to go through my stuff. I just got rid of everything. I sold off things of value. I just gave away everything, a lot of stuff to the poor. So at least it's gone to good homes. I was a little bit sad. I lost some photographs that meant a lot to me. Luckily, I found them on my phone, but it wasn't the original copy. It was my class photo, and I'd been teaching these children for 2 years, so it's a little bit upsetting to me. Anyhow, I managed to stay here. I managed to gain a 3-month visa, so at this stage I'm here until September. But we've had an 8-week lockdown, and as I said, it hasn't been the worst. But today we started, I guess what I'd call serious lockdown, and it is a serious lockdown. We're not allowed to go shopping. We're not even allowed out to walk our dog or anything like that. In saying that, I thought it started at 8 o'clock tonight, not midnight last night. I don't know how I messed that up. And we got up this morning and walked my little dog, Dudley, and I kept saying, you're sure we're allowed up? We're sure we're allowed out? Like, nobody's here, like nobody. And then like, I saw the odd motorbike, and then I saw like some push bikes going past, and like a truck full of police, because they're just like been shutting down everything and making sure that everything's shut, nobody's selling anything, no food or anything's being sold. And they went past and they waved to us. They're all like, hi. And I'm like, okay, we mustn't be shut down. There's not a problem. And then I get home after like taking all my footage. I talk like I filmed everything that you're seeing now. And I got a message from my landlord, and he's pretty cool. He's okay. And he messaged me to show me like the street that his home's on, Baku Street, which is a relatively busy street where I am in Vung. When I say it's busy, it's not Ho Chi Minh busy. I'm like 2 hours out of Ho Chi Minh, and we're in a smaller style village, but it is probably one of the busiest streets in Vung. And he sent me footage of how quiet it is, and I wrote back, yeah, I know, we were out this morning taking on footage and whatever. Yeah, it's going to be like, even quieter when it's shut down. I wrote back, Jade, it is shut down. I said, but the police waved at me and they were okay. And he's like, well, they told me to get back in the house. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, it is serious lockdown. And I know it is because I know what's happened in Ho Chi Minh in the last couple of days. They've been told to get, like, even if they walk their dog for a pee outside. And you've got to realise these places in Ho Chi Minh and where I am in Vung Tau, there's no yards, gardens or whatever you want to call it. We call them a yard in Australia. There are no yards, so you can't just put your dog out for a pee. Like, there's nothing. We've got a balcony. We're hoping he's going to end up going on the balcony. We are in a little laneway, and we're sort of hoping we can sort of just put him out and he can go do a pee and come back. But we get a little bit fearful of doing things like that in Vietnam because dogs can end up on a barbecue, and that's not a joke. It just is what it is. So yeah, so it's just one of those things. But yeah, it's full on. Like I've had to stock up food for 2 weeks. I've stocked up extra food because they may make this lockdown even longer, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get to a shop or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty severe lockdown. I've been like on an emotional roller coaster over the last 2 months. I've had to make the decision to rehome my dog, which is heartbreaking. It has been heartbreaking for me. It's still heartbreaking for me. I rescued him basically when I first came to Vietnam. He was caged, he was abused, he had parasites, he was so sick, he was covered in ticks. He used to vomit up bile every day, and he was not in a good way. I spent a fortune on vet bills to fix him up, and he was petrified. He used to hide under a coffee table because he was in a cage. He was in a cage ready to be dog meat, and he'd been abused, and he was just so scared. He used to hide under a coffee table and put himself sort of in a cage, and he is just the most beautiful dog I've ever had. Sadly, I cannot get him into Australia, and I don't know how long I can be here. As I said, I thought I had to leave in June, and I did. I went into a mad panic, and I've been crying so much. I'm like, what am I going to do with Dudley? Because I can't even get myself into Australia at this point in time. So I've looked at different avenues of places to go. Indonesia, I've just found out, it's hard to get into Indonesia now because you've got to have the 2 vaccinations before you get there, which I haven't had. And so yeah, I can't get into Indonesia now. We have looked into going to Mexico, but it's so far away from Australia, and I just don't feel this is the time that you should be travelling. Because they're just shutting borders everywhere. Like, you don't know when they're going to shut borders. You don't know when they're going to tell you, no, foreigners can't be here. And look, I even know at the start of the pandemic, I was in Sapa, which is in Vietnam, and we were escorted out of hotels and shipped out because they didn't want any foreigners in the hotels when COVID first broke out. So, you know, strange things can happen overseas. I mean, I have stuck the pandemic out in Vietnam, but I know Vietnam, I know the culture, I understand the country to some degree, as much as you ever understand a different culture and a different country and whatever, as much as you can. So to go into that unknown, especially a country I haven't been to, for me it's a little bit overwhelming. If I could have got into Indonesia, look, the option may still be there, I'm not sure. I would have gone there because I've been to Indonesia many times, so at least I know what I'm in for. So yeah, but yeah, back on Dudley. So I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and because I cannot get him into Australia. Australia's got very strict quarantine rules. We were always going to take him into Malaysia and spend 6 months in Malaysia and bring him back into Australia, but Australia's now cancelled any of that, and I can't get him into Australia. It's just an impossibility, and I've just been like a total mess because I love this little dog so much, and he trust me, and I felt like it was just a total betrayal of trust with my dog, and I was so scared because I didn't want to leave him with a local. They just, in the main, what I've seen, they're not the same with dogs as Westerners, and I mean, I have Dudley sleep in my bed. Dudley's an indoor dog. He's spoiled rotten. He's, you know, and that's what I wanted for him. He knows love. He doesn't know, they treat, in the main, I'm not saying all, they just treat their dogs differently to the way I treat my dogs anyway. And I cried and cried and cried, and I couldn't sleep. And it wasn't worrying about myself, because I kept saying, you know what, no matter where I have to go, what happens, I can survive. I will survive. But little Dudley, what if I get carted out? What's going to happen to him? And I was fortunate enough. I spoke to an American friend of mine who's here permanently. He's married to a Vietnamese. I said, can you take my dog? He said, look, I'll see what I can do. And he messaged me 48 hours later and he said, I've got a friend here who desperately wants a dog. And he wants one that's trained, so to speak. He didn't want to start from scratch with a puppy or a street dog that you have to go through a lot. It's a lot of work taking in a rescue dog. And I spoke to him, and he's the kindest man. He's so kind, and I'm so happy, and I speak to him nearly daily. And he's going to take Dudley, and he's going to take Dudley back to America, which I couldn't ask for anything else. I'm absolutely still devastated, but I'm happy. And irrespective of whether I get to stay here or not, I'm just happy Dudley's got a home and he's safe. And that was my number one priority. And even if I could stay here, I'm not going to keep him with me because I love him so much. I've got to think of his long-term future, not my, but I could have him for a few more months. So I'm not thinking like that. It's just not the time because the situation here it's insane. And so yeah, it's a crazy time. Now, the saddest part about this lockdown also is so many people here in Vietnam live hand to mouth, and they live day by day, and it's what they earn that day is perhaps how they pay for their accommodation, how they pay for their food for the day, etc. Tens of thousands of people are without food, without an income or anything like that due to this shutdown. So, you know, it's very overwhelming. It has been very overwhelming for me because I'm one of these people that when I see these kind of things, I find it very distressing and upsetting to see. So, it's a lot going on. What's the situation here? I think they're having about 1,200 cases a day or something like that. I don't know. I can't quite keep up with it. Where I am in the town I'm in, I think we've got like something like 36 cases. So it's not a great deal, but it's been enough to warrant 2-week lockdown. Do not breathe, basically. Do not take in sunlight. Do not take in air. So I'm basically shut in for 2 weeks, and yeah, so sign in. Didn't want to come straight in, bang, here I am. I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at, what's going on in my life, and to let you know I'm back on YouTube. I'm back for good. I hope I'm back for good anyway. Look, please leave a comment below. I need connection at the moment, actually, more than anything. It's not the greatest being in a foreign country and away from everyone with all this going on. So if you can leave a comment, that'll be awesome. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.